Hello, everyone. I just wanted to come back on here and put this second part to this first video about the hell experience. But first of all, I hope everybody had a very good Thanksgiving and you got to spend some time with family and friends, or whatever that your preference was. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all got plenty of food, and Jesus just blessed you all the way through it. So that being said, let's go into this. Let me just touch base a little bit here, so people aren't getting misunderstood on things. When I grew up, from kindergarten all the way into sixth grade, I completed sixth grade without moving. Um, Most of my elementary school, I went to at least 12 different elementary schools. Matter of fact, I had a teacher once ask me if I was going to unpack my bag and put the stuff in the desk, and I said, there's really no need of it. We bounced around a lot, and so my education, when I went to seventh grade, I went to two different seventh grades, and I finished off eighth grade, and as I said, I become homeless at that point, right after eighth grade. So there's a little bit of history there. So when I'm replying to your post or replying to something, it's not that I'm being short with you, or I don't want to talk to you, or don't want to comment back to you. That's by far not that. Um, Sometimes it's here, but it doesn't come out on paper or the text. So I do apologize for that, but I can't really apologize too much because this is how God made me, and just like God has made you and brought you where you are today, we should be thankful that God has a purpose and a reason for us, no matter who we are or what we are. Later on, I did go back and get a GED and stuff like that, but it was all online course and that kind of stuff. But either way, just wanted to touch a little bit with that. Um, and I can honestly say that I wouldn't really change much in my life, and it's crazy that may sound, but at least if anything, I've always used to say I worked very hard for the devil. I'm going to work even harder for God and Jesus. So that being said, let's touch base and go into some of the comments and go into more of hell. It's I guess the best way. I'm actually kind of excited to hear people interested in hell and not running away from it, because that you have to know what the devil is capable of doing to understand how he's working around your life, or even some people in your life. Some people, you may come across this video and you may be at your last straw. What the devil wants, depression. The devil wants to put you in a suicidal state. The devil invested money per se into you, and I say things like that because I want to get your attention on it. You're an investment to him. Just like a millionaire invests into his buildings and he rents them out, and he wants a certain return. Well, the devil's not so quick and easy to give up on you. He wants to drag you in and get you into hell as quick as he can. See, the devil isn't after so much the sinners, because he knows he has them. It's what he wants to do is break the Christians. He wants to break them down and make them feel like there's no God. And hell is full of those people. There's a lot of people in hell that claim to be Christians, and it's sad because your disbelief will get you there every time. So I just want to touch base on a little bit more detail into it, and again, I'll go into different areas and stuff in it. And again, if you want more on it, I will have no problems touching more base with it. Sometimes I go a little bit too much on something and it kind of detours people away, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. I'm very serious about these things I'm about to tell you. And you got to understand, this takes me back into a place where it's difficult for me to even go back into some of these things. But like I said, there's 4 different types of suicides that I tried. One of them I will never talk about because it drags me into a very dark place, and the things that I witnessed there are beyond. It's beyond a scary movie, I guess. You know, at least you know by the sound effects in a scary movie something's coming. You know, but even going back into hell, twice I went back into hell with Jesus. Jesus took me back in there to let me see beyond what I seen when I hung myself. So, that being said, let's do this. When I entered into hell with the demon, like I said, the demon was on one side and I had a lady speaking to me on the right. Well, I'll get more into the lady on the right as I come through the exit. Hoping I can get through the exit. If not, then if you don't mind, then I'll do a third part on this. If not, I'll just kind of leave it at that and let it, this is more to help you guys. This is more to help anybody that's tuning into this to understand what's there. I mean, I already understand, but if I died tomorrow, I leave this earth. I'm going to hell or I'm going to heaven. I'll take it all with me. What good is that? On the process of going into hell, I don't know about a tunnel. I've heard a lot of people speak about a tunnel going into hell. They fell through and they're falling into this tunnel. The Bible does speak of a bottomless pit. Now, I know there is a section in hell that it doesn't seem like it ends, but it does end. I mean, it's not like a bottomless. It goes for a long time, a long drop. It would be eternity drop almost. I mean, I guess the best way I could describe it is just seems like you would fall forever and never hit. But the torment of what you're seeing on the way going down. Now, when I look down inside this pit, I seen people just being shredded down the side of these rocks. The side of these rocks are like razors. And they're hitting this and they're just cutting their head open. Their blood's going everywhere, but you're instantly restored. Now, you got to remember, when you fall into hell, you're flesh, people. You're going to look just like, if I was to go to hell right now, I'm going to look just like this. I don't change. You change in heaven, but not in hell. Hell, you remain the same. Everything you did in hell, you're going to suffer through it. That's why I said repentance is for you. Forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is to be in peace. God is going to punish those who come against you and do bad things to you. And I'm about to tell you some of this stuff that you will that goes on in hell. First of all, when you first cross into there, I mean, even before I get there, I've spoken many times about this, just not so much on YouTube, but you have a bad sulfur smell. It is like, I don't know, like fireworks or something like that, but it's intense. Your senses are more than what you even have here. I mean, it's like 10 times, 20 times more. Like your sight, your smells, your hearing. When you first enter in there, it's very hard to breathe, people. I mean, the air. I mean, I've been to California a couple of times, and it's kind of like, you could tell the difference in their air compared to ours. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Ask anybody that's been to California. But it's worse. I mean, the only way I could say, if have you ever hyperventilated before, or felt like you were choking, or you swallowed something and they say it went down the wrong pipe and you're that type of stuff, or you're crying so bad and you're in an emotion like that? I can honestly say that's what it kind of feels like. You're almost like you're gasping, almost like you're drowning type feeling, and it's a heavy feeling, and it doesn't stop. Oh, that's the thing. It does not stop. You continue to go through this over and over and over and over. So now you got the smell of sulfur that still today, even sometimes, and that's why I described fireworks, because sometimes when I smell fireworks going off, that's exactly what I think of as hell. You have the intenseness of trying to breathe. Not only that, your flesh, so you're going to feel everything. And like I said, it's about 10 times worse. You know, if you ever stub your toe, I would say stub your toe and drop a cement block on it, because that's about probably the intense it's going to be. But guess what? In seconds, you probably couldn't even count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and it stops, but the pain's still there. But it happens again. Whatever's happening to you, they keep doing it. There is some places in hell where there's holding areas. It kind of reminds you kind of like a prison, but it's not quite like that. It's there's some places that there is bars. There's other places that it's like a wall. I would say almost like you're walking into a room per se. But these rooms are horrible. You know, when you walk into some rooms, these are demons. That I call them the shadow creatures. They're in the corners and stuff, and they'll just run up and they'll just come up by you and swipe your face. And they got long nails, fingernails like razors. They'll hit you, cut you open, push you, throw you, bite you. They are the wickedest of wicked. Well, this happens over and over and over too. Nothing stops. You know, the chanting of these things. You know, they're crying out words and screaming things, and the torture of the people. It just echoes and echo. I mean, it's like taking a megaphone and standing right next to your ear and screaming as loud as you can. That's all you hear. There is no stopping the sound. It just doesn't stop. It's like, I guess I would say, have somebody, when you're trying to go to sleep, have somebody just sit there and just scream as loud as they can standing next to you. But intense that by thousands. And I'm not even exaggerating, people. There is thousands of people. When you're in that holding area that I was talking about, where you fall down, it's a little bit below your kneecap, but your feet, it's like there's a hole in the floor. Like if you was to cut a hole in your floor and you was looking down in your basement and you was to jump in that hole, somebody could see your feet on the bottom because they're in the basement. They're gouging your feet with long blades and ripping that right up and through your foot, right up into your leg, pulling it out, and they just keep doing it. Doesn't matter to them. You know, you got to understand the devil led them there. So they're just as mad as the devil. You know, they don't want to be there. Why do you think the demons on the earth are doing everything they can then to go back? There's a spot in the Bible where the legions were in a man, and they come up to Jesus. The man walks up to him, and the legions speak, "What do you want with us, Son of Man?" And he says, "Silence you." So they keep repeating it. And they said, "Don't send us back. Don't send us back to hell, but send us into them swine." Well, they didn't realize what was about to happen. And Jesus granted their wish. He put them into the swine. The swines went mad and jumped off the cliff and drowned themselves. Well, they returned back to hell. See, when a demon doesn't fulfill its purpose, it goes back to hell because Lucifer doesn't need them. When you're under the influence of Satan, Lucifer, I mean, I can go down the lines, but people, don't repeat these names. I mean, Lucifer and Satan, the devil, you know, we know those names. I'm not going to tell you any demon's names, so don't ask me, and I will never do it, because it's for your own protection. Because you call off these names, you're opening portals. These demons will come. We got enough problems with the demons. We don't need to bring more. And I'm telling you, there's some of them very powerful. And some of them I've stood in the presence of. And it's crazy. I mean, you know, some of this stuff just sounds like it's why. I mean, you know, I've had people ask me, why would you do such things? Well, when you're in a demonic realm and you're in a demonic places, it's all you know. I mean, people, this is all I knew for a long time. You know, God, to me, I hated God. I really did. I hated God. I thought God was the biggest joke on the earth, and people worshiped something that did nothing for you. You see how good the devil is? He took me from a place that no one wanted me. He took me away from people that just made fun of me, did bad things to me. Some of my mom's boyfriends would beat me all the time. And, I would go through such torture. One took a belt to me so bad, made me pull down my pants. And I was young. I mean, I was still, I think, like first or second grade. Took a belt to me and left welts to where they were bleeding. And then threw me in a hot bathtub. This is real. This is what I dealt with. You left the door cracked in my house and you got smacked up beside the head or something. And it was, you never knew what was coming. That's torture in itself. You never knew what was going to happen to you as walking around in a house. You tried to be as quiet as you could because you were so fearful something was going to happen to you. And growing up, I had a real bad speech problem. So I still pronounce words a little bit off a little bit. I lost some of my hearing inside my left ear. And I was at church and I heard this crackling sound and my hearing was restored. I seen the lion coming at me and it's like instantly my hearing was restored. I had tubes in my ears and they jacked up the guy removed the tubes on my left side before he was supposed to, and it did some damage. Well, I become very good at reading lips and watching what people were saying because I couldn't, if they were standing on this side of me, I couldn't really hear them so well. Not these days, I can hear very well. So, you think about what the devil tries to do, and it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, trying to talk, and I get really nervous around men because of all the things that happen. So I really didn't know the Father. I really didn't know Jesus. I didn't know a loving Father. I didn't know any of these things. So you can see how the devil uses things and how he takes you down there. And how so many women that grow up without a father figure, that's why the lifestyles are turning the way they are, because the devil wants to deceive you. He put you in a relationship with a man, put you in a woman and woman. Well, people, hell's full of them. I'm just saying. I'm going to keep it real with you. There is no place in heaven for anything like that. There's no place in heaven for liars. There's no place, because liars, you're deceiving. You're telling people that things aren't truthful to get your gain and what you want. Gossipers, that you're destroying people. You understand what you're doing to a Christian? You're doing it to God and Jesus first. Let alone, it doesn't even have to be a Christian. God created everybody. You tear people down with your tongue and you're talking about someone, what do you think them people are doing when you leave a room? I guarantee it, they're probably talking about you too. Because that's just the nature of it. Hell's full of them too. Let me tell you what they do to people that gossip. They will grab your lips and rip sideways and split you all the way up. Pull your tongue completely out of you and just start slicing off pieces and slicing you down, slicing your tongue, ripping it, pulling it apart. But you're restored. Doesn't matter if they could cut the thing off and you're still going to have it restored. But you're going to go through that. Remember what I said, the pain doesn't stop. You're just restored. Now they do it again and the pain comes on top of that pain. Well, if you like pain, then hell's not going to fear you. But I tell you what, when you see those demons coming and you hear the snarling of them and you see them beasts come out of there, they're coming with a vengeance. They're coming to destroy you. Even though they know they can't, you will beg to leave there. And you can never leave, people. There's no leaving it. I'm telling you, if I put you in a room for 24 hours, no TV, and I place somebody behind you, now, and I made it to where you couldn't turn around, I put 2x4s or something around you where you couldn't move, and you're just sitting there just like this, the person behind you is clawing you. The person behind you is cutting into you, ripping you, because they're in pain, because the person behind them's doing it. You can't see the people behind you. You can't see them. You can feel them. It's so hot. You start sweating. You don't even want to sweat because your sweat starts burning into your skin. It's the what your sweat becomes like fire coming out of you. There is places in there, in the rows I call it, where you're fused into the ground, and it's hot. You're fused all the way around your legs. It's constantly. I mean, it's almost like you want to cut your legs off just to get off of that feeling. It's horrible. You can see heaven though. You can see people that you know in heaven while you're sitting there in pain, crying out for them. They'll never hear you. Jesus will never hear you. Because once your name is removed from the book of life, you're done. Because you surrendered your life to Satan. And there's no getting it back, people. There's no getting it back. And it's sad how many people, that you see in hell. I mean, it's just sad all the way around. So, you ever hear people say an eye for an eye, because the Old Testament speaks eye for eye, tooth for tooth, karma. Some people say they want to be there when karma comes around. Trust me, you don't. You don't ever want to see somebody be punished. If you grew up with siblings and they were getting a spanking or something for something they did, or something like that, you felt bad for them. You don't ever want to see the karma in hell. I'm telling you, you don't want to see it. God, these people will be punished. That's why I say if somebody does something against you, pray for them. If you're having difficulties, pray for it. But first of all, you gotta come to Jesus first. If you have bad thoughts against someone, or if you're gossiping, or you're doing something that's against God, they can't hear your prayers because you're in sin. The Bible's full of paragraphs like that speaks of exactly what I'm telling you. You ever wonder why sometimes people pray and they say, nothing's happening? Nothing's happening because you're in a sin. Well, hell's full of you. It's full of it. People that rape people. Now, I'm going to go into this the best way I can without saying the body parts, because I don't, these days, I don't know what age groups end up getting into this, because I've seen kids on YouTube and I've seen little kids in Walmarts and stuff when I used to work at another department store. I'd see kids going through there and looking at stuff, and I'm looking at the parents, looking at the kids, looking back at the parents going, what are you thinking? You're not even paying attention to what your kids are looking at. Unbelievable. I mean, and then you wonder why kids grow up so fast. The devil's fast forwarding everybody because he knows his time's short, and he knows all he's got to do is present. He doesn't make you sin; you let yourself sin. But somebody that rapes people on earth, all I'm going to say, if you're a male, they have their parts of their body cut off and shoved in them in both ways. That's all I'm going to say. And then they reach in and pull it out of you. It's true. I've seen it. Women, there's some women that take advantage of young men and do things. Same thing. I mean, it's horrifying, the stuff you see. And the only thing I can say is, in the same relationship, I've literally seen things, and all I can say is, picture a woman, and if a woman was having a baby, picture the other woman, and I think you would get the picture. Instead of the baby coming out, baby going in. I think you're getting the picture of what I'm saying here. Hopefully. There is a lot of things that you don't understand. It is pure torture. Everything you've done, because you don't repent, and most people do never repent that are in hell. So let's just say you told lies. Let's just say you rip people down with your tongue. You're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for the lies. You're going to pay for gossiping and ripping people down and talking bad about people. So there's two. Theft. Oh, good luck. Good luck with theft. I've watched them take their fingers and bend their fingers completely back and just peel it down like a banana. Smash them. Literally crush their hand. You can hear the bone snapping and crackling. You see them ripping the bone right up out of the skin. Theft. Just for theft. So if you got 3 of those, you're going to feel that nonstop. It'll get so bad. I've watched people grind their teeth. I've watched people bite their lips off in so much pain. Well, can you imagine your teeth just like salt? Somebody sprinkling salt in your teeth, just the nerves and everything in there. It's intense. There's no stopping this pain. It is 10 times over what you have ever felt. If someone was to walk up to you and punch you right in your face, you'd feel it. But it eventually stops. Like when I used to fight, you'd go numb sometimes. I mean, I've been hit so hard that after a while they keep hitting you and you start swelling, you turn numb. You know, so you continue to fight. But what happens if you don't go numb? I'm sure people's been hit. Somebody might have smacked you at one time or did something. I'm sure you've probably heard of people talking about you. You know, there's different rooms in hell. And what I'm telling you right now, what I've just told you, that's only the start of hell. That's not even into hell. You got fiery pits that they will toss you into, drag you through coals by your feet. They will put their claw nails, as I call them, right through your feet and just drag you. They will put their fingers, their claws right up inside you like this and just rip your face and just drag you through stuff, throw you into walls. They don't care. And if you think their strength isn't something, let me tell you, these things have no problems just throwing 3 fingers right up inside your nostrils and just picking you up and throwing you. It's true. I'm not even kidding you. This stuff is so intense. There is so much that goes on in hell. If I was to walk up to you right now and take a hammer and smash your hand, you'd be screaming. But can you imagine 24 hours of that? If I walked up every time, you start getting a little bit of feeling back and I'd whack it again. And your bones and everything's shattering. But yet it automatically goes right back. And as soon as I watch your hand reform back up again, I'd smack it again. What about if I cut your arm open and I ripped your veins out of you? And you're bleeding and blood's going everywhere. And you're screaming and carrying on, you know, something. Like every time I'm doing a video, I'm moving or doing something, but my back was scratched. It was itching so bad. But people, it is in the heat. I honestly, the more further I got into hell, it's like getting sunburned, and you know how you blister up? These blisters are on blisters on blisters. You just bubble up everywhere. I mean, there's bubbles all over you, and you don't want them to pop because they start popping. It's like burning you. This water, the stuff that comes out of that fluid is so hot, it just burns you. Like I said, my veins were boiling. I literally can see my veins swelling through my arms, my face, my neck, and the neck's the worst. These veins swell up so bad. And it's starting to make it hard to breathe. But then you got these demons running by you. You can hear them running. And they'll just start cutting you. And your veins and all this blood is coming out of you. And they're laughing. Their laughter is so loud and echoes through your hearing. It hurts. It doesn't stop. It's like I would rather hear dripping water dripping into a pan all night long than to listen to that scrolling and people screaming, "Help me, help me." Because some of the people are looking at heaven and they see people and they're screaming to them. Doesn't matter, they can't hear you. You can scream forever because you're going to do it forever. Remember, I asked, how do you get out of here? You can't. Once you're in hell, that's it. So you got to understand. What I said was, God proved to me. And God did. He showed me hell. But I still felt it. Even though my body was hanging, I still felt it. From a young boy, when I used to have out of body experiences and when I was being beaten or something like that, I could literally remove myself from the situation and I could do other things, and I was fine. I'd come back, I'd feel it, but not as bad. And I remember the Lord told me once, He says, every time that you were in sorrow, I was with you. I laid there over top of you and took most of the beating. I don't see the devil doing much of that for anybody. But I want to explain something to you. The devil doesn't really make you sin. We got to get that straight. The devil just presents things. He'll put people in your life. You ever notice if you have a gambling problem, he puts you around people that gamble. You ever notice that you have a porn problem? He'll put you around people or bars, strip clubs that you're walking by. You can buy magazines now. You can buy stuff now. I mean, we got people half naked walking around outside. The lustful nature of mankind is sickening. And we allow our children to walk outside, like this. I mean, why is this okay, people? We're supposed to be teaching our young daughters and stuff to have respect for themselves. Because if they don't have respect for themselves, no man's going to have respect for them. Plus the fact all this stuff that goes on outside, guys are preying on people like this. This is why we got sex trafficking. This is why we have inductions. People are going to say aliens when the rapture comes and God calls His people home. Again, I'm just going to touch on it. No, we're going home. I'm going to go in the body. God's going to call us. The Lord's going to come and get us, and He's going to take us with us, just like this. Just like the Bible speaks about Elijah being taken upward. So it's true, but you're going to go into a wash place in heaven, and you're going to be made new. Like your happiest point. Like, I remember one part in heaven that when I walked over to the river and I looked at my reflection and I was made back to normal before all this happened. So that's my happiest. And I'm okay with that. I'd be okay even if I had to look like this the rest of my life. I'm okay because the Lord made me this way. There's a reason why I had to look like this. I don't know. I used to be embarrassed. I used to be sad. But today, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Been called a lot of names. Freddy Krueger, Scarface. I mean, I can go down the list of nasty stuff people have said about me. It doesn't really matter, though. I mean, it's hurtful to a point, but my thing is now is you got to come up with something pretty original to come up with something I haven't heard. I you know I want to touch on this real quick too. When I went to hell and I committed suicide and I went to hell, um, I spent 2 weeks. I'd go to work, and I didn't even go to work the first week after it happened. I called off and I didn't go to work. I didn't do anything. I left everywhere. I went and sat in my car and just stayed away from everybody. The second weekend, through the part of that, now you got to remember it's winter time, and if it was snowing, I was plowing snow. Other than that, I wasn't really working. Um, so you know, it was easier to get off of work at the time. I spent 2 weeks just by myself trying to figure out all of this because everything I have had visions of and everything I've seen from a child just become real, but it's in a torturous place. They are never done torturing you. I mean, it's horrifying. The screaming. I mean, there's still times that I listen to the night when I'm walking and I can hear screaming. These shadow things that come out of there, and honestly, I would like to do even a video on that, just talking about these shadow people and these things that lurk in the corners that catches your attention. Um, you know, there is a way. If you ever get into something and you see something in your house, all you gotta do is ask Jesus. Jesus, is that an angel? And if nothing changes, it's not an angel. You better start asking Jesus to remove whatever's in your house because it's not good. I do it all the time. If I think I see something out of the corner of my eye, that's the first thing I'm doing. Jesus, is that an angel? Jesus he'll show you. You'll see the same thing come right back, right in front of you. But you'll see a little bit more of it. I don't know if everybody can see it, or he'll just give you peace, like a happy feeling inside, or you might hear a bell ring or something. I mean, I hear all different kinds of sounds. I've seen angels playing instruments in heaven. And some of the angels are very beautiful. Beautiful wings. Not all people have wings, though. That's not true. You don't go back to heaven and you get wings. That's not true. When Jesus became flesh, Jesus gave up his wings. It's true. He gave up his wings to become flesh. Jesus gave up a lot for us. A lot. But, so now, demonic activity. If you're being grabbed, if you're being touched, something's happening. If you're walking in a room and there's cabinet doors open, if there's you can't explain stuff moved or something else. I mean, I can go into a lot of detail of the demonic stuff that's happened in homes and stuff that I've been in, and it's not just me, people. My children witness this stuff. The wife I'm with now witnessed this stuff, but I've witnessed this stuff I'm 50 years old. For as long back as I can remember, at least 48 years of my life, I have experienced demonic activity. And I've personally seen it. Like I said, I've had my bed shook in the middle of the night, like something you'd see on the Exorcist. I mean, I'm being for real. My bed would shake like that. It would flip you out of the bed. I've had my whole mattress they just almost like these demons are standing right there and just throw my mattress up in the air and sling me out of my bed. You're talking about scared? As a little boy, I would slide under my bed, and I had army men lined up. At that time, I had Star Wars figures, so I had a Chewbacca and Han Solo, and I'd put them there with their guns lined up, coming up my bed, underneath my bed, towards where my closet was, at my bedroom door. Because remember, I said the demon would come out of my closet, turn into a human, go upstairs and sit by my sister's. They were up in the attic, and that demon would go as a human form and sit by their door frame. And my sisters testify on this. Well, two of them. The other one's passed away. She overdosed with drugs, and there was no stopping her. I tried. And I told her, I said, Robin, if you continue, you're going to be, within 2 weeks, I'm going to be getting a phone call. 2 weeks to the day, I got a phone call. And they told me that my sister passed away. That's horrifying. There's no, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina when I got the phone call. I was very close. She was the one I was telling you that I gave up a spot so she can, because she just had her first daughter, and I said, go to the place, and I was very close with her. I mean, even though didn't get along all the time, but that's brother and sister, But it was very difficult for me to know that. I mean, I watched her go spiraling down a hill that there was no stopping it, and it was horrible. It was the horriblest feeling in the world that I couldn't help her enough to get her away from it, even though I tried over and over. And I'm here to tell you, people. I had a vision, and my visions now, it's not like you daydream type thing. I mean, there were still visions. I mean, you may have a dream, and a prophetic dream that you wake up from, and this stuff happens. My my visions, I literally, like, in heaven, I can touch things. In hell, I can touch things. I can see things. I can see people. That's why I say, if someone, a loved one or anything that was doing drugs, that was a thief, and all these things, my sister's in hell. And that's the hardest part about going there. You see people that you know. I heard her cry out to me. She'd always call me Nell. Nell, help me. And all I could do is muster everything I had and said, I can't. But I tried, and I didn't want to cry because I know what would happen. And I've watched these demons just walk right past her and just hit her. There's no stopping them. It's true, people. Because it's like heaven. Before you enter heaven, you can look around hell before you get so deep into hell. And once you get so deep in there, you really don't know anybody because you ain't got time, because the torturing starts immediately. Not like heaven where you get to celebrate and you get to talk with people. But in heaven, you know everybody. Even if you don't know them, you know them. That's what's so great about it. There is no my place is better than yours, my car is better than yours. Matter of fact, there's some people that's going to make it into heaven. Some employers you may have had that mistreated you, they'll be your servants. And it's true. So all you bosses and anybody that comes across this, that you got employees under you, be careful how you're treating people. Only thing I can say, people, is, and know it's hard, but let it go and pray. Pray for peace. Pray for forgiveness for what these people have done. And ask God that His will be done. And leave it alone. Ask God to give you peace with it. And He will. The Lord's going to give you so much peace, it's so much quicker. The more you're able to do this, the easier it gets. The hardest thing that I had to do was pray for my ex-wife. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because she was a bad person. And I eventually got to the point where the wife I'm with now said that she would pray for her ex-husband. And this guy, they could have been cloned from the same piece of fabric. I mean, but other than that, I think my ex-wife was a little bit worse. She's ran me over with a car. She's pushed me out a window, hit me with a ball bat. I mean, I can go down the list. And nobody deserves to live like that. And I was willing to wait till the kids were old enough to separate from the demonic of what's attached to people. And, all I can say is you don't sleep ever. There's no time. There's multi-rooms. I mean, they will hook you to these ropes and turn these gears, and it just starts stretching you and stretching you until your arms are being ripped from your body. Your legs are being ripped from your body. But that's not enough. They got spikes in you that rip society apart. And you go all back together. Welcome to hell. Luxury life, isn't it? All so you can have a fleshly life here. And you can do whatever your flesh desires. It's an open candy store. You can run and get anything you want. Drugs, if you're a man, women, if you're a woman, men, cheat, steal, lie, and carry on all your way through it. Hell's full of it. And hell's full of demons that will take care of you. Hopefully, I went into enough detail on hell. There is a couple other spots that's a little bit more intense, but it's the same thing. You're dealing with heat, but it gets hotter and hotter as you go, and the demons are more and more wicked, and you just get bounced from one place to the next. I mean, as soon as they torture you a bit, and you got multi things against you, then they toss you into the next room. They'll throw you through bars and drag you in through bars, like little tiny bars like this, and your head's being squeezed through there. They don't care. They don't care. You're nothing to them. They don't even want to be there. I really hope this video makes you think. It makes you at least start going, oh gosh, Lord, I'm sorry. Because you got to understand, what we have done to people, we do it to Jesus, and we do it to God. Above all. If I was to say, here's Jesus, and I hand you a whip, and I tell Jesus, take his robe off, and bend him over a stump, and tell you to start beating his back. Could you do it? Some people could, because that's just the nature of them. Because they're not pleasant. They're just plain evil. But when you do bad to people, that's what you're doing. You're whipping Jesus, because he takes every blow for us. I don't know if I could do that. Let alone, I don't know, even as terrible as things have become with kids and everything else, I don't know if I could sacrifice one of those kids and put them on a cross and watch it. I would want to take their place. See, I'm terrified of hell. I don't ever want to go back there. And the Lord, when he took me back in there, the 2 times I was talking about, other than that, when he took me back in there, I asked him to take me out of here quickly. And he had to take me deeper and deeper and deeper into hell. I don't want to go there. I'm serious. It is so bad. Like I said, I'd rather turn on a wood chipper on slow motion and go feet first I'd rather feel that pain than to walk back into hell. Because at least I know in that wood chipper, eventually I'm going to have a heart attack or something. Eventually it ends. And hell doesn't. I don't know how else to put it. It's sickening. Beyond sickening. What do we got? Okay. When I hung myself, and the person on my right, that woman that was talking to me, and she told me not to look into the light, but look to the left, and my name was there. And that's when I said I would, if I looked in that light, I was stuck in hell. There is cases of near-death experiences that people have, and God spared them because of prayer. Somebody's praying for you, and God will spare you to give you an opportunity to correct your life, to find Him. When I started walking backwards, and that demon did not really want me to go, but this angel appeared that was on my right. She appeared, and she removed me from there. Now, the further we got, she disappeared, and I'm thinking, oh, well, this is nice, but in the long part of it is, a man showed up and started talking to me. Well, at the time, I had no clue, but today I know it was Jesus. Because when I got back to my body was laying on the ground. I was no longer hanging up. My body was laying flat on the ground. And as I'm laying flat on the ground, I'm listening to this man speak to me. And says, now you asked, you are shown. I said, no, I asked if God was real to show me. Well, I learned later on, if hell's real, heaven's real. He pushed me backwards, and I fell into my body. And he walked up to me, and he got real close and put his lips right over top, between my nostrils and my lips. He opened my mouth and breathed 3 long breaths into me. And I started choking and gasping. That rope was so infused into my neck when I had to go upstairs, because it was a 2-floor apartment building. It was a house turned into two apartments. My brother-in-law at the time asked me, he goes, Nell, what did you just do? And he's prying down on the rope and putting a blade in there, and I didn't care if he cut me at that point. I couldn't eat people for a week. I had to take pudding and sip a pudding through a straw and drink through a straw. Warm water. No soda, no pop, no nothing, whatever you want to call it. I call it pop. Some people call it soda. I mean, depends on where you're from. I guess if you go to Tennessee, I've been in Tennessee, and they call everything Coke, even if you want a Pepsi. Or maybe it's Pepsi, and you want, I don't know, but they call everything the same thing. It's either Coke or Pepsi. It's the craziest thing ever. I'm like, oh, okay. But they told me. It didn't change me. For 2 weeks, that was it. I went right back because I started hanging around the same crowd. I started hanging around the same people. But I was a little bit different. I didn't drink as much, And I know people, I've had people tell me, oh man, the drugs you're doing, the alcohol. No, people, I was sober for 2 weeks. And I seen more stuff in the spirit realm that hell all over again. I could hear the cries. I woke up and I seen the visions of these demons. I'd see these demons, the same one that walked me into the gates. I seen him standing over my bed, laughing at me. And all he kept saying was over and over, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. All night long one night. I'm coming for you. I'm coming. And I just screamed at him, shut up. Wouldn't stop. That's what you hear in hell, though. They don't stop. It's torture in more ways than one. It's like being in the middle of the woods and can't find your way out. And you're lost. Because that's how you feel. Lost. Hopeless. Drained. You have no emotions no more. You have no hope. You're in a place that's just horrifying. That's why I said there isn't a horror movie can touch hell. Ever. That's why I tell people, watch Halloween when you're dressing up in these costumes and you're celebrating the Devil's Night. You know that's something I would like to do too, and I just might do it. Halloween night, the Hallow Eve as they call it, in the satanic realm. You have no idea what goes on. You would think twice about Halloween, and I was big on Halloween. I used to decorate the houses for the kids. I mean, I'd make dummies I'd flip out an iron board and make it look like a body was there, and I'd make it gruesome. I worked at the haunted houses. I helped build scenes. I mean, I was all into it. But I wasn't a godly person then either. And you would think, after what I seen, that would be enough. That's why I'm giving you a warning. God spared me. You might not get spared. You might not have that moment to repent in a car where you're laying there and you're still alive and have that split moment where you can ask Jesus to forgive you. You might not have that opportunity. I'm never willing to take that chance because I don't ever want to go back there. I try every day to do the best job I can do and do the purpose of God. How do I know what God's will is? It's to speak of his son and to be under his son's authority. Pick up my cross daily and follow Jesus. Do you understand? I did a teaching once on sin, and I used chains and different size chains and linked them together. A chain length is 2 U's shapes per se, and it makes a link. But if you take it off, you got a half a link and a half a link, and you make a full link. Every sin you do and everything you do in life, you keep making a chain. The longer you're in sin, the thicker your chain becomes. So you got a tiny little links, and then it gets a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. Well, these chains are all hooked together. Each link hooks together. Kind of like, did you ever make a chain at Christmas time, the red and green, and you put them together and you make a big long chain per se? It's kind of like that. But your chains and the links get bigger and bigger and bigger. The more you're in sin, the fatter and the bigger your links are. Trying to show you on there. I mean, they're going to get like this, and you wrap it around. If you ever watched the Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge, when Bob Marley, I think it was Bob Marley. I think it was. I might not be right on that, but I'm not. I was a big movie buff growing up. It was like my choice of drug, I could say. I would just binge in every kind of movie. If there was, see, there's different ways. You don't have to do drugs, people. There's different ways of overdoing something. And it didn't matter. If there was a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 16, I'd have every single movie. And I'd watch them over and over and over and over. It's kind of like hell. Over and over and over. There's no stopping it. Even though I knew most movies word for word, I could quote stuff out of movies. I could tell you scenes and what movie it was out of, or what's there. But anyways, see, I can get sidetracked real quick. But I ask God, guide my words, guide what you want me to talk about, and let me go off of those topics. In the Christmas Carol, when his partner comes back and he's got the money boxes all to him and the chains all wrapped around him, that's sin. The only person can take that away from you is Jesus. He's the only one who can break those chains. And he will, if you ask him. He'll break every chain that you have made and put on you. And he will take it from you. I promise you. I live a peaceful life today. I don't have a lot of people in my life. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay if I stood alone If I was the only one on an island, I would stand alone and I'd be happy because I got the power of Jesus. I got the love of Jesus with me. And people, go back to what I said a while back. I hated God. I love God. Have I asked for my repentance? Yes. Over and over and over. Because I want to make sure. And I know God forgave me the first time. I have a relationship with God. I speak with God and I hear God speaking back to me. The same thing with Jesus. I talk to them just like I'm talking to this video. The same as I talk to my wife. The same as I talk to people that I come across. It's true. I do thank you all for commenting, and because there's times when you go, Lord, I wasn't even going to put these things on YouTube, but the Lord told me. And later on, my wife, he told her, tell him. And then I heard the Lord tell me again, why have you not done what I asked you to do? First of all, I'm not big on videos and all this stuff and trying to put stuff on there. I get frustrated. And I try not to get frustrated about stuff, but I do. I have enough patience, but my eyesight's starting to go, and there's a lot of things about me that I can't do anymore, and it's hard. It's hard to deal with those type of things, and I give it to the Lord daily. I'll be the first to tell you everything about my life. Just ask me, I'll tell you. I've been in some places, people. I've seen a lot of stuff. I mean, I've been through it. I've been accused of so much stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable. But like I said, at least I know how the people really feel about me because of the falseness that they accuse me of. My air just kicked on in this truck. It's cold. I mean, if I open the window, it's hot. But there isn't much that I don't like to share with people. And you know what's weird about it is, as a child growing up, I didn't really talk to a lot of people. I was shy. I didn't want to be around it. Doing this video, I don't have no problems doing a video. I have no problem sitting one-on-one with people. I just hope I help you. I want to help you. I want to deliver you from demons. I want to deliver you from a lifestyle if you're stuck in a rut. Don't let anybody talk down to you. Don't let anybody talk about you. Remember, you're somebody. Your birthday. I used to tell my wife all the time. She goes, it's just another day. When we first got together, I said, no, it's not. It's a special day. God made you. Put you on earth that day. And God has a purpose and a purpose for you. Whether I ever get to meet anybody or not, I'm thankful for you. I really am. And I'm thankful for your comments. And I'm thankful that the communication. But just keep in mind, people, if you don't understand something I say, if you don't mind, I'll reply to you to let you know that I received it. But I'll add it into the videos so you'll know. And it's better I do it that way. You'll probably understand it a lot better. And again, I won't apologize, but I just want you to understand. I'm only capable of so much. My spelling's horrible. A smartphone, you ever try to spell something and it seems to be right? Well, your smartphone takes that a word as a word. So I don't know if it's spelled wrong. I really don't. So if I don't know it's spelled wrong and it's on there, I just push it. Sometimes I go a little too fast. I type too fast and I think I got everything on there, and I'm missing words, or a word got misspelled or something. I do apologize for that, but sometimes I'm too much in a hurry sometimes. But the lifestyle that I do out here and all the stuff that's involved with it, I mean, you're up at early hours, you're running, you're dealing with traffic and weather and everything that you could possibly think of driving truck. In different states, you're going into cities you've never been in. You go down roads that you shouldn't even be on. But back when they made these buildings, we didn't have such long trailers and other issues. But that's where I find Jesus the most. Not only in those times, I keep Jesus close to me. I need him. I have no choice. Because if I don't, I fall back into my old ways, and I know what awaits me. The very things I've been telling you about. Hopefully I gave a better explanation of what hell is truly like. And if there's no more questions on hell, I kind of, if that's where we leave it off at, then I'm okay with that too. But if you still curious about something there, I'd rather tell you everything I know about hell than leave you wondering. Because wondering, sometimes the devil will drag you in there. If there is no other comments on there, then I'm going to start speaking about hell, my experiences and stuff that I've seen there. When I go home this week, I have something I'd like to show you. It's not the same as when I was a child. The one I had as a child, the guy my mom was married to, he had children from a prior marriage too. And through this, anything that I had doubles of, I had to give to his son if he wanted it. Well, Georgie, which I'd rather show you Georgie, the one that I got replaced with it, I wouldn't give him to him. So he made me walk, my stepdad at the time made me walk down the driveway when the trash guy was coming and throw him into the trash can, and I had to stand there and watch him be tossed into the back of the trash truck. Now you got to understand, when I would have my outer body experiences, Georgie was always with me everywhere I went. I built things. I'd go around as a child in Copley down the streets. People would put trash out. I'd hook my wagon to my big wheel or my tricycle. And when I got older, I built a bike out of scrap pieces. And I would ride around the trash and pick up stuff. Well, Georgie always went with me. But Georgie isn't what Georgie is what you people see here, but not what I see when I'm in that spiritual place with him. You know, what I see in heaven is what he looked like when I would go into there. We'd have all kinds of adventures, and it was real. I mean, literally, this stuff was real. It's amazing. And I thank God, because that's what helped me get through my childhood. I mean, really, it did. I don't think I could have made it through my childhood. You know, depression. I went through bad depression, very bad, and bad thoughts, evil thoughts. I mean, that's a topic in itself. So I can relate to anybody that's having depression problems. Please, people, don't take your life. Don't take your life, because all I can say is hell awaits you, and there's nothing good in hell, nothing. So, let me pray for you. Heavenly Father, I thank you, and I thank you for the opportunity, and I'm very grateful that I could put things on this video and have it uploaded. You know, and I'm thankful for the people that have this website and that they allow us to come on here and place videos. And most of all, I just ask these people that don't know you or your son, that they have an opportunity. And again, I ask for a godly mentor to be put in their place to help them walk through there, you know, that they can turn to. You know, we have it in the you know, the AA meetings and stuff. You know, they got sponsors and stuff. You know, we need more of this discipleship. We need more of this, that people that come to accept your son. There's got to be somebody there that can help them walk them through there, because we know what the devil will do. The devil will drag them out in that wilderness, just like when the Lord went out there and spent 40 days out there, defeating the devil, we know that we may not be as strong, and we might not be able to defeat him, and he might drag us right back into that lifestyle we had. And it doesn't do any good for someone to receive Christ if there's nobody there that help him along the way, to help him get through the difficult times. So, Lord, I just ask that these people come with the receiving heart to receive these videos, that they understand truly of what it's like, and have a vision in their head when they're hearing this. I'm hoping that they can relate to it, and the visions come into their head, and they can literally see what I'm talking about, so they can understand there is nothing nice and pleasant about it. But either way, I ask for protection over everyone. I ask that there's no attachments, nothing comes through, nobody can try to put any kind of spells on there. I've known a warlock, and I've known 2 witches, and their spells and the things that they do, especially Halloween. That's why I tell people, do not celebrate the devil's holiday. Stay away from it. Just keep your kids away from it, because there's so many wrongs with what you hear about candy and stuff these days. We had a pin scare when we were growing up. Somebody put stick pins inside candy bars. Razor blades and stuff. It's sick. This is sick, sick, sick. But it's where we're at, the devil's world. So let all this be done, and let it be known through you, Lord, and let him have an opportunity to come with the receiving heart to receive you. And Lord, as always, I thank you. I thank you for allowing me to be a disciple of yours, and I thank you that you give me the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding to go forth and do these things and have no fear and have no worries of what the world will say or how it will come. I just love you, Lord, and I praise you, and I thank you for your forgiveness, and I thank you for correcting my life, and I thank you for the discipline, that if I'm in need of discipline, I thank you for that also. I thank you as you mold and sculpt me. You take anything out of my life and you take it away from me, whether it's family, friends, whether it's an object, whether it's TV, movies, whatever it may be. You take these things from me, because you're all I need, and you're all I want in this world. Just let me be the teacher, Lord, and speak of what you have for me for these people that come and hear. I ask for peace, love, and joy in their lives as I exit out of this video. May God bless you. May God take care of you and keep you safe. I ask for protection and Jesus' blood over you all. God bless you. I love you. Till the next video. Bye.